Hey Batman, hey look, do me a favor and check the stove for me. Make sure that I turned it off before I left. Yeah, I'm just around the corner. I'll be back in a few. And keep your eye on your little cousin for me. Make sure he's not scratching that chair. Alright, alright, later. Cat communication. You are now rocking with the Cool Cats and me, the D.E.V. Now, I used to think cats were aloof. Well, I still think cats are aloof, but that's not the point. The key is understanding their language. The scope of a cat's many ways to communicate is vast and wide, and I'm not even going to try to cover all of that. But what I decided to do is to narrow it down to what I consider to be the main three. The first of which is what I would call visual communication. Body postures, expressions, etc. I would say, however, that a cat's tail position is extremely significant. It's the easiest way to tell what they're thinking. Now, there are numerous tail positions, and I won't be covering them all in this piece. But what I will say is the tail sticking straight up is what you want to see. This is a friendly position, and it means they are happy. I did a whole piece on this about nothing but cat-tail communication. It's called A Cat's Tail Tells the Tale. So after you watch this video, be sure to check that out. Though the cat's tail does tell the tale, visual communication is not limited to tail position. Narrow or small eye pupils usually signals anger or aggression in cats, whereas dilated pupils signals fear. A relaxed cat will have its ears facing forward in a normal position. Flared ears out to the side means angry, and ears pressed back against the head also represents fear. Of course, these are just a few of many. I told y'all, cat communication is something. Hey Robin, what's your email address again? The next main mode of communication the cats use is smell or scent. Cats have a very well developed sense of smell that they use to communicate. Their chemical signaling is very specific. It can last a long time, and it can spread over considerable distances. This is how they identify territory and individual cats and humans, either friend or foe. They produce an oily chemical scent through something called sebaceous glands. With different parts of their head and tail is how they mark things with this scent. They also have these glands on their feet and in between their toes. That's why they're always scratching in the same places all the time. They're not just sharpening their claws, they're also marking their territory. Ain't that right, man? Hey, bro, man, did you get that last text I sent you? And of course, a main mode of cat communication is vocal. Cats have one of the widest vocabularies of all carnivorous species. Their vocal communications are generally agonistic interactions, sexual interactions, mother to kitten interactions, and cat to human interactions. And the vocalization itself is usually in three forms. The first of which is murmuring. Now these sounds occur with their mouth closed. The sounds are used for greetings, acknowledgement, approval, and of course, attention. This includes purring. Next, you have meowing. Now, I'm not even going to try this one. Meowing has an extensive range of sounds and a variety of messages. Way too many to list. But y'all know it's a sound they make, so I had to list it, right? And then you have their aggressive sounds. Now these are made with their mouths open. Growls, yowls, hisses, spits, and shrieks. Now these can be offensive or defensive, and they can be aimed at other cats or other animals altogether. And in case y'all didn't know, your cat looks at you as a big cat, not a human. Now let me get back over here and check on these jokers. Make sure they ain't burn the house down. I left Batman in charge. He's the oldest, and he's responsible for the most part. He does a decent job, but sometimes he's the main one swinging from the chandelier. Now back to the cat communication thing. To this point, we just been discussing how they communicate. But what about how we communicate with them? Communication is a two-way street. So I'll just give y'all a few pointers. First of all, cats respond better when you speak in a higher tone of voice. I guess that's why they get along so well with women. But guys, we gotta do it too. That baby talk. Y'all know what it is. Next, match your tone to the message. If you're praising them for something, make your tone light and loving. If you're communicating that a behavior is unwelcome, make your tone more serious. Not yelling, but serious. I struggle with this one. I'm a yeller. Batman, what you doing? What? The messages have to sound different though. Otherwise, they won't understand the difference. Also, use vocal tones and repetition. If you want them to learn something, repeat the action and add a vocal cue to help them learn. Good boy or good girl works well with cats. Reinforce your praise with a treat And your cat will eventually do anything you say just to get that treat that goes with it. And lastly, treat your animals well. They didn't ask to be there with you, but now all they have is you. Treat them like family, fast.